I want to turn now to this documentary which has been shot in secret inside Victorian fire stations. It blows the lid, that's the only way to say it, on how unreliable the state's ageing fire trucks have become. It's quite extraordinary. It's called Breaking Point. It was filmed without the knowledge of the leadership of Fire Rescue Victoria. I want you to have a quick look at what this documentary uncovered.
What would you do if you called Triple O and your house was on fire and you said, I need a fire truck, and nothing turned up?
I've never known it to be this bad.
Lives are on the line. How do you play Russian roulette with that with a truck? Someone in the community is going to die, and that's the reality of appliances not performing to the standard that they're required to perform to.
We are starting to fall short.
We have had trucks towed. It's on their way to a fire call.
I had a truck that lost complete power on the Pean Highway.
I've been in a 37-metre ladder that's broken down and I've had to crawl out of that.
It's not what people pay for.
They're paying for a world-leading fire service that they're not receiving.
The things that are breaking on these trucks aren't made up. It's happening every day. It's happening all across the state.
It's happening all the time.
The public don't know, and they need to know. There's going to be loss of life one day.
It's not a matter of if something tragic is going to happen, it's when.
Well, I can tell you half of the 200 trucks in Fire Rescue Victoria fleet are past their 15-year use-by date. That number will be 2 in 3 by the end of this year. There have been more than 500 breakdowns, 500 in the past 12 months. Trucks have been stopped pumping water at fires, can you imagine that? Forcing firefighters to rescue people from burning buildings without any water. The failure to acknowledge and act on the danger posed by ageing the fleet was a major factor behind a 90% no confidence vote in Fire Rescue Victoria Commissioner Gavin Freeman and members of his leadership team. Here to discuss just how dire the situation has become, 2 of the whistleblowers involved in that documentary, Acting Station Officer with more than 19 years experience and UFU Safety Rep Kat Dunell and leading firefighter and UFU member Matt Morgan. Thanks you both for coming in.
Thanks, Steve.
Any Victorian watching that who might potentially tonight be in an apartment, 4th floor, catches fire, truck gets sent to the call out, can they rest comfortably in bed tonight knowing that they'll be okay?
Well, we've got a major issue with our aerial appliances right across the state, Steve. We just don't have them in commission when they should be.
So what's the biggest problem here, the age of the equipment?
It's the age. By rights, they've got a 15-year use-by date, and by then they're pretty well worn out. We're hard on them by necessity. They look nice and shiny on the outside. There's no two ways about that, but once things start to not work, pumps, foam systems, even the gear that holds gear inside lockers and on top of the appliance, that's when it just gets untenable.
So, Kat, who do you lay the blame at the feet of here? Is it management of Fire Rescue Victoria? Is it the fact that they can't convince government to spend money on new equipment? Who's at fault? There has to be someone to blame, surely.
Look, it's not really about laying the blame. It's about how do we get this fixed, and it's going to take, quite a bit of funding and quite some time to get this, fixed, because you can't just go out. These trucks are so specialised. You can't just go out and buy them off the shelf. They need to be ordered. They need to be, the chassis brought in from overseas and then built in Australia. And it's just going to. So it's not really here blaming people. We just want to see it fixed.
Matt, how dangerous is it for the men and women working on the trucks?
Matter of time.
Before?
A matter of time before we'll be going to someone's funeral purely because of what's happened to the truck.
And so
absolutely guarantee it.
So it's the equipment breaking down in the middle of an emergency situation?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what sort of equipment? The pumping, the water?
Pumping water, what we call aerial appliances, which are like very large cherry pickers with a hapless bod up in the cage, usually over the top of a raging fire. They're specifically designed to get over and above large fires, factories in particular. We saw it happen at Derrimut last year at the chemical fire. There, the usual aerial appliance that we wanted from Sunshine has been missing in action for months. And so we had to wait for one to come from Richmond, another 25 minutes further away.
Your union's a strong union. It's been strong in union politics in Victoria for a long time with a strong leader. We've got a Labor government. We've had a Labor government for 10 years, Dan Andrews and now Jacinda Allen. Why has the union not been able to have more influence on what the government has to spend to keep people safe?
Well, I'm going to say the old adage of all politicians are the same. We would gladly stay apolitical, absolutely gladly. But when one party is saying, hey, you back us and we'll look after you, and then when push comes to shove, we're standing there knee-deep in hand grenade pins with nothing to show for it.
So how quickly can this be turned around? I mean, I want to ask you both, you're putting your own reputations on the line being involved in this, clearly. That would have been it must have been a big decision for you. I mean, to go public as a whistleblower on something as important as this, I congratulate you, but you put your own career at risk, I presume.
Look, it wasn't really a big decision. I've been a health and safety rep since just before the large Tottenham fire out at Footscray. You know, I've seen firefighters injured over the course of their careers where they cannot come back to work, let alone as a firefighter, but work in any capacity, and that might be because of something they've had to do at a fire. But when you see, you know, when injury can occur as a result of not having a truck or not having a working truck and being sent into a fire to perform a rescue, to me that just shows a huge lack of respect for our profession, that we're not given the equipment that we need to perform our role. You know, firefighter safety is paramount, public safety is paramount, and it was an easy decision, honestly, Steve, to come forward.
We're supposed to leave the job in a better condition than what it was when we found it. I've got 38 years service. I'm coming to the end. I'm well and truly over the hill. But I have my crew at Derrimut, all of them, none of them were born when I joined the job, and I've got to look after them. So my career becomes quite superfluous.
I mean, imagine if we were sitting here talking about how ICU at Royal Melbourne Hospital had broken equipment that failed in the middle of saving a child's life at the Children's. I mean, it'd be fixed in like that.
You would think. You would think.
Yeah.
Well, why can't this be fixed?
That's the eternal question. This is why, unfortunately, we had to go on the...
What do you think would have happened if you hadn't spoken out? Nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think we've been raising it internally for quite some time, and now is the time to... You know, we just keep getting told we're a world-leading fire service. We're not. We're borderline catastrophic.
What's it doing to the morale of the men and women that you know? And how hard is it to recruit new people?
Below base level. You see it reflected in all sorts of ways, and I've never seen it this bad.
Well, your colleagues in the police force are not much better. Morale there's at rock bottom as well.
Yeah.
Our paramedics aren't looking real flash either.
Victorians pay taxes for the very reasons that you two are sitting here, to make sure that if there's an emergency in regard to a fire, whether it's an industrial fire or a house fire, and police are there to stop you when someone comes through your front door with a machete, or paramedic comes and saves you from a heart attack, that's what you pay taxes for. You don't pay taxes for people to, you know, sit around as politicians and do sweet bugger all, do we?
No, not in theory, no, but in reality. The folks aren't getting the money, they're not getting the service that they pay for.
Yeah.
And I should reiterate, Victoria's firefighters aren't going to give up, and they're not going to fail to respond. We're going to always go that extra mile for the folks. But
where can our audience watch the documentary?
At breakingpoint.com.au. Right. And I'd urge everyone to have a look at it. It's very powerful.
Kat and Matt, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it very much.
Credit
to you. You can now watch Breaking Point, as Kat just said, at www.breakingpoint.com.au. And just before we head to the break, in response to this story, Fire Rescue Victoria has said firefighter safety is paramount and at the forefront of everything we do. Senior leaders, quote, have commissioned an independent external audit of FRV's fleet and maintenance programs, the outcome of which will inform our maintenance and replacement plans going forward. FRV has established a specialist team to strengthen its fleet maintenance regime in parallel. FRV is working closely with the Victorian Government to fund and acquire new trucks.